Welcome back to the possibly final episode for 2016 of the so-called Xperts.
Come on, what more can we say after today?
Did you know? Well, this is true. But did you know when I used to do the radio show with Blanchie, we used to do off-season as well. We did 2 off-seasons, and it was an hour long.
What did you talk about during the off-season?
Oh, God. Well, we talked a bit about A-League.
Hello, I'm Rafe Griffin, by the way.
And I'm Phil Davis. We talked a bit about A-League and whatever we could come up with. And there were a couple of times when Blanchie had to run off and do the Paulie TV, and I had to talk for an hour on my own.
I like that to be an issue for you.
Well, that's true. It's a good point. When I get wound up, I do like to, don't like other people to get a word in, but, well, look, it's podcast time.
And it's...
Feels like we just did it yesterday.
Well, and we had a few technical issues last week, so have you heard cutting in and cutting out?
Yeah.
Technology got the better of us again.
Yes.
But we're going to go babackwards in some respects.
Us?
Yes, we take collective blame.
Oh, we take collective blame. Fair enough.
So we're going to go backwards in some respects. Because we're going to look at Sunday first before we get to Saturday.
Yes.
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 We're going to start off at Underwood Park at Rochedale, where the women's grand finals were held on Sunday afternoon.
Indeed you do.
First of all, in the Capital League, another penalty shootout for Virginia.
Yes.
Because they seem to like penalty shootouts no matter which games they play.
No matter what, yes.
And we'll talk about that later on. It was 1-1 after extra time. And then Virginia went on to take the penalty shootout, went into sudden death. They won that 6-5. And then in the Mount Franklin Women's Premier League, Mitchelton, what an achievement to attract or collect the treble this year.
Yes.
In a 2-0 win over Annerley. And one of the scorers was Kate Lutkins. And I know you were taken with her performance in the Elaine Watson Cup.
I was indeed. She's a good player, Kate Lutkins, and I'm glad she scored a goal. I'm glad that Mitchelton won it. Well, you know, you'd like to see it shared around, but I think winning the treble is something that they'll remember forever. It's the kind of thing that just is very rare, no matter what level. You know, to win the Cup, League, Grand Final. Well, it's a lot harder if you're not in Australia, I suppose, because you don't have a grand final. But it's a difficult thing to do. And, of course, that's 4 trophies for Mitchelton Football Club this year. And so it might take... How long have they been around?
Well, I think their anniversary is 1920.
1920.
Yes.
So they only need to score 4 more... wait another 96 years, and then they'll win another one.
I don't think the club in particular, Roger, will want to wait around that long.
No,
somehow.
I don't think so. But, yeah, congratulations to the Mitchelton ladies there. Obviously the best team in the league all year. They've won everything.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Who got Player of the Year?
Player of the Year.
Oh, it was Ferndoyle.
That's right. So they didn't win that.
They didn't win. Absolutely. Well, they won all the collective awards.
Pine Hill's close enough to Mitchelton, though.
Yeah, I don't know so much. It depends on... I don't know. I don't know the North Side very well. I got lost up the Jinka track when I went there for the semi-final. Thought, I remember how to get to James Drysdale Reserve. I've played here. I've been here. No. Didn't bother with my GPS, so
you'd get lost going anywhere. So congratulations to
Mitchelton
Virginia,
and to Virginia.
Mitchelton on the year.
Yes, some common names around in all the grand finals, aren't there?
Yeah. So continuing to go backwards.
Yes.
I made another trek up to AJ Kelly Park after being there all day Saturday.
Yes.
It was Capital 4 grand final day.
Yes, it was.
Caboolture shifted their match from their home ground out to AJ Kelly Park. And it was a successful move as they came away 2-0 winners. It was a bit of a funny match because of the first half hour, Sanford were right over Caboolture, but something triggered at the half hour mark, and from that point on, it was pretty much all Caboolture. It took them until the hour mark, though, to get on the board when Ben... Now I know the pronunciation.
Yes, what is it?
Musika.
Musika.
We've waited all year for that.
Did you actually ask him?
No, I heard it in the traps around the place on Sunday.
Musika.
So he scored from the penalty spot on the hour mark.
Yes.
And then the perennial...
Was it a penalty or was it just the ball come across there?
No, definite penalty.
No, but I mean, it was... All right, yeah. You said he scored from the penalty spot. I thought it might have been an accurate cross and he just...
He scored a penalty then.
Oh, okay.
For those playing along at home. And then the perennial Stephen Cleary playing at the ground that he's been graced in recent years. He scored the second goal 10 minutes later. A late consolation to Sanford through Wade Godsall, but it was all too late. And after missing out on the premiership,
Yeah.
Caboolture claimed the grand final.
And congratulations to them. We know they're going to be a big team in years to come. Let's hope they are. They got so much going on at that club. A couple of years, isn't it, before they get the...
I think 2018 or 2019 they moved to Moray Field.
48,000-seater stadium. I might be exaggerating. But, yeah, no, that's good. It's a good thing for the league. And bad luck to Sanford Rangers. I think that, it's going to be unlikely they're ever going to be in a league like that again.
No, it was a one-off, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you've got Marundu and Rich Hills coming down. You'd expect Sanford, they'll be up next year. If they can keep their team together.
That's right.
Who did you tip to win that?
I tipped Sanford.
Oh, I tipped Caboolture to win 2-0. Well, look at that.
How convenient that your memory has come back right now, isn't it?
2-0 and all. Oh, look at that.
Moving on. You're out at Elder Oval for Capital 3 Grand Final on Sunday afternoon.
It was, and that was a bit of a theme, just like Sanford Rangers. Toowong were the best for, most of the first half. It was a really close game, very competitive, and both defences really mastered their attackers in the first half. But Toowong, they gave their best in the first half. But after the break, Virginia started getting on top. Michael Geddes and Jason Pitt were playing together and doing really, really well. And Kehoe, Steve Kehoe? You don't know, do you?
No, you were there.
He's the captain anyway. He played really well at Virginia at the back. But after that, off to 0-0. Couple of good chances. Toowong scored a goal, had it disallowed. It was unfortunate at the other end of the field. And I don't think anyone knew what happened. The referee was very close. Lara Smith, the goal was disallowed and there weren't any complaints, so I suspect it may have been a handball. But Virginia, Toowong scored. And it was a deflected shot from whoever scored. Who scored the goal was...
Who are you talking about?
Capelli.
Yes.
Capelli scored the goal. Deflected shot went in and we're in 110 minutes. You thought, well, this is just about over. But no, they went up the other end. Great cross to a guy who looks just like Michael Geddes, Gordon Milne. And he headed it in and it was 1-1. Then it went to penalties. And, of course, Virginia, 3 penalty shootouts in a row.
It was 2, yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's a way to clinch the grand final, isn't it?
Yeah,
and go through the final series?
Yeah, I wonder how many they actually missed out of that. Because it was 8-7, and they only missed one in the one before. Anyway, I might add that up later, and I've got 6 months to add it up.
They love their penalty shootouts then, because, of course, we showed at the gala dinner their round 2 FFA Cup game, which was also a shootout against St George Willawong.
It was. It was a thrilling penalty shootout because Virginia hit the post and then put one over the crossbar, and so they were down 2-1 with, they were about to go behind 3-1. And the goalkeeper for Toowong, he took a penalty, and then Kuznin, who was the hero in the semi-final, saved 3 in a row. Unbelievable.
Again.
Unbelievable. Last time he only saved 2 in a row. So next year, he's going to save 4 in a row, you'd imagine, at some point. But yeah, fantastic. Obviously he's the hero of the day, but it was a really good game of football because both teams were into it. The crowd was into it. Well, I've just mentioned the crowd. I was there for the last 20 minutes of the reserve game. Oh, my God, that was probably the biggest crowd I've seen all weekend.
I think that
it was insane.
On Sunday, there was equivalent sort of thing to what we saw on Saturday with a big crowd in. And I think, there was a bigger crowd for the Rezzies on Sunday afternoon at Cap 4 than what hung around for the main game.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in it was Tarragindi.
There you go.
Tarragindi won the Rezzies. Tarragindi versus Virginia. And there was a little Tarragindi section that was just... Any time they got in their half, they were going. It was great. And that's the spirit of the grand final. But look, congratulations to Virginia. I don't think too many people who don't play for Toowong or Tarragindi would say they didn't deserve to win the grand final. And that's a double. And they did it the hard way because we thought they were going to walk away with the league. And then they nearly turned it over. And then they got knocked out of the first semi-final and came back in. It doesn't get much harder than that, does it?
No, it doesn't, no.
But, it was a light drizzly afternoon. And it was I just felt like I was in England,
I managed to escape the rain out at AJ Kelly Park. Speaking of which,
yes,
because we're going backwards to Saturday.
Yes.
Now, first of all, let's give praise to Craig Furigal and his committee out at Peninsula Power.
Absolutely.
Because they turned on a magnificent service and a great atmosphere with all the organisation that they did on the day.
Yes, they did. They did a brilliant job, and I say that sincerely. I was trying to help Craig out by putting a few divots back in. When I was walking across the field, there was a couple coming out, and it was annoying the hell out of me. I don't know, it was my OCD kicking in, but they really did do a great job. The food was great. The atmosphere was great. Just the hospitality. There was just a general feeling that everything was running smoothly, which is a hard thing to do.
Did you get your pulled pork slider?
I didn't get my pulled pork slider.
No. You missed out.
No, well, yeah, look, I had a hot dog and some chips when I got there.
You're a basic man.
Yes, I am a basic man. Well, yeah, look, congratulations. And we should talk about the games that were on, Rafe.
Starting off with
I watched
Capital.
every single minute of all 3 games.
So did I.
Except for the penalty shootout because I was writing, remember?
Oh, that'll be interesting to talk about then. Capital 2 kicked off the day.
You have to write much about a penalty shootout, do you?
And Acacia Ridge defeated the Gap 1-0 with a late penalty.
Oh, before we move on, can I just mention that I tipped Virginia to beat Toowong?
Right, so I've just built up Capital 2.
Yeah, but who did you tip, Virginia or Toowong?
Acacia Ridge defeated the Gap 1-0, a late penalty to Juan James.
Yes, indeed. And look, I'll put my hand up and say that I tipped the Gap to win that 1-0, but there are extenuating circumstances because Rui Nose got sent off for a challenge, and it was a clear red card tackle, wasn't it?
Now, what's the saying from hero to villain? Of course, the Capital 2 Player of the Year.
Yes.
And then, that unfortunate incident on Saturday afternoon where he left his side down to 10 men.
And I hate to say this, but I think that cost them the game because the Gap were better, and even after that, they were still, head to head. It was a really close game. I have to say, in all honesty, I thought it was a boring game.
It wasn't the most exciting.
But you get that in grand finals.
Yeah.
You just get that because the teams are so well matched.
Did the 2:00 kickoff come into play there?
Absolutely, you could see them at half time. They were just red faced, and the game was. The tempo was a lot slower than I've seen. Definitely Acacia Ridge play. But Acacia Ridge love to get the ball and just dink it over the top. They've got a new striker, David Weedy, is it? Someone Weedy.
David Weedy.
Yeah, and for the fast men to run onto, so they were doing that all afternoon. And the Grange play, a more curriculum-based. The Gap, a more curriculum-based attacking game. So I think the Gap can consider themselves unlucky, but it's been one of those seasons. 2 best teams were playing each other. That's what you want, and it was a clear penalty.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And, of course, Jamal Spelter hit the post in the first half, and I think it was James, or it may have been Rodriguez. One of them hit the crossbar.
Yes.
Just before the penalty.
I think it was Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah. So a good win for Acacia Ridge, and congratulations to them. Done wonderful things. I was talking to Jimmy Spears, and he said that they're planning on getting into the Premier League.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
It will be interesting.
Considering they've only got 1 team.
That's right. I'll have to pick up a few juniors from somewhere. But both sides into Capital 1 next year, making the step up.
Yep, and they're both worthy of being there. It's interesting. I was interested in the tactics, though, because, I think Acacia Ridge deliberately set out to try that little dink in behind the defence. They tend to play it wider, usually, when I've seen them play, but I think they knew what they were up against. And well thought out by Zoran, the coach.
Speaking of Capital 1.
Who Darren called...
Vedran.
Vedran, yes. Oh, Serbians.
We'll come to Darren in a moment. A few bloopers on the weekend.
Yes.
Capital 1.
Yep.
No goals in 2 hours. It went off to a shootout.
Yep.
That Grange eventually triumphed over Southside Eagles.
Yeah, a tight game as in the scoreline. But on the park, I don't think it was as tight. And Grange, they deserved to win a penalty shootout because they were a better team, I thought. So that's the way it is. And of course, the big thing was they lost to injury Ethan McCoy.
Southside Eagles did, yes.
They lost Ethan McCoy to injury, and I think that...
But in saying that, Jaden Rucker was very impressive when he came on.
Great, wasn't he? He should have scored that goal.
Jalen Rucker, I should say.
Jalen, yes. That was the moment, wasn't it? The ball went over the top, and you could see he was up against the 2 centre-backs, and he's obviously a young kid, and he just, boom, and he was gone. And the moment got to him. He should have taken one more touch. If he had taken one more touch, the keeper would have either taken him out or he would have been in on an open goal. But I think that losing Ethan McCoy put too much pressure on Josh Falco. You could see that he was wearing out in extra time in particular because he was having to do so much work up front because they're playing that kind of, they're a bit of a fluid structure, but they play with two up front generally. So, yeah, look, but a fully deserved win for Grange. I thought they were the better side. Matt Hornby had an excellent game. Matt Tubbs had an excellent game. He was my player of the match, but that was because I think he was vital to keeping his side in it. He not only was he did some great sweeping, but and he made a fantastic save in the first half and a couple of in the second half. But I think that he was his side were built around what he was doing.
Yeah, they came under a bit of pressure. There were also a couple of goal line clearances from his defenders at times as well. So
absolutely, Matt Hornby.
No matter how many times Grange continued to try and pepper that goal, they just couldn't find a way through, whether it was through Tubbs or his defenders.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I think Grange deserved to win that one as well. But that was a great atmosphere.
Yes, it was.
That was the best atmosphere of all three games.
Of course, Southside Eagles brought along their own supporters group and stood down one end of the park and made the area their own.
Yeah, and the Grange boys were on the veranda, I believe.
I think they were, yes.
Yeah, so I was up there briefly and, they were saying some naughty words.
Were they? The words you'd never say, would you?
Words that I've never heard before.
Oh, really?
Naughty words, indeed. But, they were really having a great time up there. I was there for briefly and I was like, I'd rather stay up here, I think. But, congratulations to Grange. They're up and they've won a trophy. So the two teams that were promoted, they've both got a trophy to take with them because I suspect that I don't think South United or Grange Thistle are going to win the Premier League.
No, I don't think so because speaking of which, the team that did win the championship this year, Lions were dominant in the end over Mitchelton in the main event. 4-0 winners in the Flight Centre Premier League over Mitchelton.
Yes. Now, when you say dominant, the scoreline was 4-0.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Lions were going to lose.
That's true.
Right, during the game, but Mitchelton really gave.
Yeah.
They really did. They had some good chances. Jake Mitchell put one over the bar, which he, was an excellent chance, but they really gave their all. And we know that Josh McVeigh got sent off, and Lions scored 3 times after that. But it was all, they were running on the edge, and they had to. They just had to do that. They had to really give everything to try and beat Lions because if they sat back, they would have lost, as we said. And I was really impressed with the way the Mustangs went about the game. So, kudos to Mitchelton and to Leo and his whole team for making it a grand final because it was a real grand final,
It's just weird how things work out, really. Mitchelton had the upper hand over Holland Park, beating them in all 3 games this year. But Lions had the edge over Mitchelton, winning in all 4 games and scoring 15 goals against them in those 4 games.
Yep. It's a strange old thing, but then we look back to Lions losing to North Pond and UQ, don't we?
Ah, that's right.
But as far as the actual win, Brady Kenyon scored the first goal. At that point, it could have been 4-0. And that was 8 minutes in. Michael Butters had already had 2 great chances, and Kevin Downs had stopped both. And there was another... Nathan Reardon had a header on the edge of the 6-yard box that flew over the top. It could have been 4-0, so Mitchelton got themselves back into it. And they made a game of it because it evened out after that. I'd say 15 minutes, Lions it was all over. What do you think?
Oh, yes.
You awake?
Yeah, I'm awake. I'm just listening to you.
Yeah, I like it when I'm at your work because, And
what a magnificent feat for Warren Moon, of course, winning his 4th successive grand final.
Indeed.
Or so I've been told.
Is it 4th in a row?
Oh, you missed the joke, didn't you?
Yeah.
Darren Lutton said it was his...
Oh.
Darren misheard my message, apparently, say it was Mooney's 4th grand final. He heard it as he won his 4th consecutive grand final.
I was going to say, I don't think Mooney won.
They didn't win last year.
They didn't win last year, no. And the 2 years before that, yes. No, what? I don't know. I can't remember. But
Well, that one, you had to be there for that one,
I think he's
obviously.
had won 4 grand finals. Yeah, he's been in 4 because he was with East, but that was way back in the dark old days.
Anyway, Lions have got the hoodoo off their back in terms of
Yes, they have.
being able to win grand finals. They finally got over the line. And I read this post too late, but it was Tim Lawson's final match for Mitchelton.
Oh, was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me that when we were sitting at the RG's on Wednesday night.
No, he didn't, no.
So, no, actually, I think he did. He's heading up the coast, isn't he?
Knowing Tim, he's probably off to enjoy
surf.
the surf.
Yes, I think he did tell me that, actually. Yeah, he's heading up the coast, so he'd be playing up there, I'd say.
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah. Well, maybe he could play for Caboolture. It's just down the road. But, yeah, look, congratulations to Lions and the whole crew at Lions. We know it's a professional outfit, but I think it was harder than, than it looked to win the grand final in particular, because they had to come back for some poor form and, whether they had the self-belief or not, but they did it. And that's 2 trophies. And the trophy cabinet at Lions gets bigger and bigger.
It's bursting at the seams.
It is. Right, so that was it, all the grand finals for the weekend, and that's the year. Is there anything we can...
Well, cast your memory back.
Yeah.
What are some of the standout moments of the season for you?
Oh, I can barely remember last week. Look at probably the FFA Cup, Rochedale versus Mitchelton.
Have I told you I love the FFA Cup?
Yes, I wondered what those greasy marks were on it when I saw it on TV the other night. It was obviously you pouring it. The, Rochedale Rovers versus Moreton Bay.
Yes, that's hard to forget that one.
Yeah.
Greg Cheshire in the 87th minute. And then when you thought perhaps it was going to extra time, in he pops again in stoppage time.
Boom. Yeah, that was a highlight for me. I happened to be on the veranda and they were going absolutely nutso. What about you?
Entertaining affair between Holland Park and Capella Bar.
Uh-huh.
The 6-4 score down at John Fredericks Park.
Yes.
Of course, Manabu Ishimoto. Lucky goal. Lucky goal.
That was a great interview, wasn't it?
It was a great interview.
Yes. It's difficult to think of things off the top of my head. I should have planned it, but we're doing this a bit early. The first time I saw Azawi play, I knew he was very good. And it was just, the word was filtering through that, and the first time I saw him play, I was like, wow, this kid is a very good player. So that was one of my moments of the year.
I don't know. I can't remember if you were here that night. I think you might have been.
Here.
Remember when Mitchelton defeated
Would
Wolves?
I be in your office at night?
Mitchelton defeated Wolves in the FFA Cup.
Yes.
And one Stephen Chester came on as a substitute and scored 3 goals in less than 3 minutes.
I was there indeed. I was right behind the goal with you.
We think it's the fastest
Hat-trick in history of the universe.
2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah. But did anyone follow up on that?
I think Roger McIntosh did try to. I'm not sure whatever came of it.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, it's difficult to think of. Great, Have you got anything else that you can think of?
No, I'm just scrolling through what I've pulled together over the times.
Yeah.
Who was your overachiever for the year?
My overachiever. What, team?
I'm going Capella Bar.
For me, it's definitely Capella Bar, because at the beginning of the season I thought they were not going to be rubbish.
Well, I tipped them to be relegated, actually.
I tipped them to finish about 12th, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that is relegation. I'm in 10th. They're definitely the overachiever. No question. And, Jeff Herford, great job. Underachiever?
Easts.
Yes, it's got to be East, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, no, actually, look, I'm going to go with Logan.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because Logan were...
Top of the table after round 3.
Again, and they were going along just fine, and they ended up finishing... Ninth. So, yeah, another season of underachievement for Logan, unfortunately. Sorry, Croyds.
One to keep an eye on for me next year.
Yes.
Albany Creek.
Yes, yeah. We'll see what happens there, because they were very good late in the season. I agree with you. Albany Creek, keep an eye on them. We'll see. I think Ipswich Knights might be better next year. Let's see if they can keep that squad together and add a couple of players. Because they were, marginally rubbish, weren't they?
Marginally rubbish.
Yeah, well, they were always in with a chance of winning anything, but they never did. So they're probably close to being the disappointment of the year, but yeah.
And how do you think Caboolture and St George Willawong will fare in Capital 3 next year?
I think that Caboolture and St George Willawong will finish in the top 4, both of them, no question.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Can they climb again?
Yep, definitely.
All right, well, It's very early to be looking at 2017, but...
Yeah, no, definitely they both can climb again.
So once again, the merry-go-round is going to start. It'll be interesting to see where everyone lands by the time we get to the Silver Boot in January, because that's normally where we see the fruition of what's happened in the off-season.
Yes, I've been told a few gossipy rumours, and I think
I think we can confirm one. So we know that Ben Ryan has left Holland Park,
and
that he will be the assistant at Peninsula Power next year due to his university commitments. He needs to just take a bit of a step back. So that should be a good coaching combination, him and Aaron Philp at the helm there at Peninsula Power.
What does Ben do? He just gets great players and watches them win, doesn't he? I love you, Benny. That will be very interesting next year. I've heard rumours. I think there are players that have already transferred between clubs.
Yes.
But the thing to keep in mind with that is, I've seen it before. I've seen players train all through the pre-season, and a week before the season starts, amazingly, they don't play for that club.
One Mr. Jake Reesby this year springs to mind.
Yes. But there are definitely rumours going on. Oh, we know that Eastern Suburbs are losing...
quite a few of their players, it sounds like.
I believe they're losing Michael Ryan, Daniel Cunha, Matt Boyd...
Tom Carroll
and Ryan Stenhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a rebuilding year for East in 2017.
The hard thing is trying to get players in, but... we know what the other clubs go around. I'm sure Mooney will buy everyone, won't he?
That's the allegation, isn't it?
Yeah. Or he'll offer everyone a contract, whether he can buy everyone. Yeah, but it's that's pretty much the year.
Well, we started off on the deck.
Yes.
Then we made the way to the dungeon, as you call it.
The downstairs bedroom.
And now you've made it into my new office.
I love it in your office. So it's been an interesting season, hasn't it? We would like to thank people. Would you like to thank people?
We should thank some of our guests that we had on.
Oh, thank all of our guests.
Ben Enjoy we had at the very start.
Yeah, we had Leo
Mooney at one stage.
And Mooney. Yeah. We didn't get a lot of guests because functionality with the equipment this year is a bit hard. Yep, well, thanks to all those. Thanks to everybody who listened, obviously.
I got more comments on the weekend from the Cap 4 boys, yes, that they are listening.
Yes. I got comments too from players on the field. You believe it or not. Thanks to everyone who listened. Thanks to everyone who put in comments on the washing line. Thanks to everyone who supported the washing line, to everyone who supports the local game. Thanks to everybody at every club that did their best to help out FB Media, because some of them would move heaven and earth, and I just really all I need is just to turn up and stand in the corner. That's all I need.
But nobody puts baby in the corner.
Yes, but thanks to all those people. Thanks to Football Brisbane, is that you?
Yeah.
Kind of is. Thanks to Football Brisbane to their continued support for the podcast and everything else we do. And
it's going on longer than an Academy Award speech.
I've only just started. That's all I've got.
That's all you got?
Yeah. Special thanks to the people that I know listen every week. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Mooney. There's lots more than that, but you know who you are. Would you like to thank anyone, Rafe?
I'd like to thank you for continually turning up, because I'll be honest, I gave you 2 weeks.
Really?
I didn't think you'd turn up after 2 weeks. I thought you'd get sick of it.
No.
But no, you've stuck in there.
I love podcasts. They're easy.
Even despite your broken car and however many times it's broken down.
And how many times have I been sick?
The stories we get about Phil and running out of petrol going to Peninsula Power one day and then being picked up by various players on the way there, and they're a comedy story.
That was Charles Mendy's car. Some plug fell out and lost all its oil, and I got a lift with David Salin. But yeah, thanks to all the players in particular and all the coaches, but to the players in particular, because if we didn't have so many good players around, this would be the most boring podcast ever.
Well, we've made it pretty boring in the last few minutes, so...
We have, so put up with it. That's what you get. We may do some things during the off-season.
We might track some of the player movement at various stages.
Yes. So we might bob up occasionally when we feel that there's enough information to do a podcast, but the washing line will still be available, I guess.
I need to work out what the plans are for that.
Yes, yes. All right, well, that's it for 2016. Congratulations. If you won, you won. If you didn't, well, you know, that's football. If we didn't have, frankly, losers, runners-up and relegated teams, well, it wouldn't be worth playing. I have been Phil Davis.
I have been Rafe Griffin.
And that is us, the so-called experts for this year. We will see you somewhere, sometime, somewhen.
Somewhen. All right, thanks very much, everyone.
Bye.